Hey, Matt back from Loot Signal, and today I'm gonna go off the cuff and talk about a little game called StarCraft from 1998. I want to share some of my memories, some of the reasons why I love the game, and what it was like to play this all those years ago. So before we go into StarCraft, I need to set the stage a little bit about the mid 1990s. And in 1995, we got a strategy game, a real-time strategy game called Warcraft 2. And this was the first real time strategy game that really sucked me into the genre, really captured my imagination, and really pulled me in and showed me what a real time strategy game could be. Now, this wasn't the first real time strategy game, but this is the one that I would say first took the world by storm. Orcs vs. humans, and there was so much going for it, incredible campaigns, incredible fun that I just can't explain enough the impact of Warcraft 2. But we'll save that video for another day. Now, a year later, in 1996, we got another game, another strategy game called Command and Conquer Red Alert. Again, another incredible game, more focused on reality, bit of a different mix up, different from Warcraft 2, but another incredible game. So within a 1 to 2 year span, we get two incredible real time strategy games. And you got to imagine, as a young kid, having access to these games, the amount of fun that I'm having playing them, how I'm getting sucked into the genre. And I couldn't expect how much better real time strategy games could get in the future. Um, but at that time, I just can't say enough how great, how incredible these two strategy games were. So that's setting the scene. While we're playing Warcraft 2 Command and Conquer, we start to hear about another game coming out from Blizzard, the creators of Warcraft. We start to see images, video, trailers, and that game was StarCraft. And when we heard the title, we knew exactly what we were getting. The branding, everything was already built for Warcraft. So when we heard StarCraft, we knew right away, and we're getting another real-time strategy game, and we figure out it's going to be space themed. So here comes 1998, and this game right here, StarCraft, drops. And I can't explain how big of a deal it was when this came out, how people were lining up to get this, how everybody wanted to get their hands on it. This was a time when Blizzard could do no wrong, right? They had Diablo, they had Warcraft, and then they have StarCraft. So again, just hit after hit after hit from Blizzard. And I couldn't have imagined how much StarCraft was going to take the real time strategy genre and build on top of it, improve things. And those are some of the things we're going to talk about in this video. So before I go into specifics for StarCraft, I need to also just set the scene here for what it was like to go in and buy a game like this back in 1998. So at the time, I would usually go to a store called Future Shop. That's something we had here in Canada. It was since bought out by Best Buy. But basically, you'd walk in there, and many of these stores and shops were the same. You would have aisles upon aisles of PC games. It's not like it is now where you go into a GameStop and you might have, one glass case of PS5 games or a small wall of Nintendo Switch games. This was a time where you'd walk in and they'd have aisles, literally aisles of these big box PC games stacked side to side. And Blizzard at the time, I swear it felt like they had their own aisle because not only did they have, Warcraft, Diablo, but they had expansions, Diablo Hellfire, Warcraft 2 expansion. And not only did they have expansions, they had these huge battle chests. So they basically, it almost felt like they had their own aisle, and you couldn't walk through these stores as a gamer or as a PC gamer and not be completely captivated by the Blizzard section. And part of that is because every game was an absolute 10 out of 10. Incredible game. So that's what it was like to go into these stores and actually buy a PC game like StarCraft here. Now, why was StarCraft such a big deal? What impact did it have on me? I think that I didn't know at the time where the real-time strategy genre was going to go, I didn't have the answers of how these games could get better, but Blizzard did. And they came out with StarCraft, and they took everything that Warcraft 2 did, but they took it to another level. So we went from Warcraft 2, where you had two different races, humans versus orcs, but they played very similar, right? It was almost like orcs was a reskin of human, right? The units, the characters look different, but every unit between the two races kind of had their equivalent. And then you go into StarCraft, where they come out with three completely new, distinct races. You have Protoss, you have Terran, and you have Zerg. And it does not feel like a reskin, right? All three of these races play completely different. They all have their own unique abilities. They all have their own unique little quirks. And not only that, but they're all balanced almost to perfection. So you never played StarCraft and felt like you're getting cheated. You never felt like one race was so much better than the other. If you lost, it felt like your fault. And for them to come out and do that, but have such a variety between the three different races at the time in 1998 was incredible. So not only that, the game has better pathfinding. Units have their own distinct skills and abilities that you can upgrade and unlock. There was just so much new and so much different things from Warcraft 2 that just elevated the genre. And again, like I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how much better the real-time strategy genre was going to get. But StarCraft at the time took it to a new level, to its pinnacle. And I just can't explain enough how good the game was. So the campaign was awesome. You had a campaign for each type of race. So it wasn't like you were just playing through Terran and you're done. You're going through a campaign for each of the three races. There's multiple different boxes. So if you liked Protoss, you could get the box with Protoss on the front. They were really doing a lot of fanfare. And again, it was just a different time in the 90s where things were done like that. Like they really appealed to the fans, they listened to the fans, and they gave you tons of content. So the campaign's awesome. We got unforgettable characters like Jim Raynor. Um, and it's just such a great game. So there's a few other things I got to talk about that really blew me away at the time. And the first was something that you might look at as like a small detail now, but at the time, this blew me away and it was awesome. And that's just when you select a unit, there's a box at the bottom where you can actually see what was almost like a real-time view of the unit, right? Like a little video playing on loop where you could see them, you could see their face. And the voice acting in this game was incredible. There's so many unforgettable quotes in the game. And everything, again, was just perfect, right? The graphics at the time, the units, the enemies, just everything came together in a holistic, perfect way. So I can't explain enough how great StarCraft was and the quality of life improvements that were made that took it to another level. Now, the single player is one thing. The single player was great, but we have to talk about online, the BattleNet. Because BattleNet, again, is where things just went to a different level, like a place that I could never expect. So you had your traditional sort of online multiplayer where you're just fighting other users online, right? Whether it's 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, etc. And that was awesome. The matchmaking was awesome. Playing other people was awesome. The level of competitiveness was out of this world. But then came along the custom maps. And custom maps here is something that, again, it was like rocket fuel to take StarCraft to another level because you had guys creating these custom maps that were like their own game within StarCraft. And the level of creativity, the imagination these people had who were creating these maps, like it was absolutely incredible. So to give you examples, they had maps that were full RPGs within StarCraft where you'd start off with a character, you could level them up, you could upgrade them, they could evolve, you would fight bosses, you would find items, you could use items, there were shops where you could buy items. Like you had full RPGs within StarCraft. And some of these were really cool, really awesome themed RPGs like Dragon Ball Z or other things, right? Then on top of that, you had things like tower defense, tons of different tower defense maps, tons of fun could be had there. You had evolution maps, and you just had so much that spawned out of the custom maps within StarCraft. So even Dota, a game like Dota, Defense of the Ancients, that can trace its origins back to a StarCraft custom map. And you don't have to believe me, you can go back and look this up for yourself. But the origins, the inspiration for Dota came from a StarCraft custom map. And that's just how incredible these PC games were back in the 90s, right? The modding, the community, the community was like no other. And I'm not saying it's not there today, but back then it was just like the what people were doing was at another level. Um, and the amount of fun you could have with these games was incredible. So I can't say enough about StarCraft. You know, this wasn't a game that you would get 1, 2, 3 years of fun out of. Like, this was a game that you got decades of fun out of. There's people that still play this game today. I went back and replayed it for the first time in about 10 or 15 years to capture footage for this video. And I can say with 100% honesty, the game still holds up. I had a lot of fun. Like, I played Warcraft 2 recently as well. And I'm going to be quite honest, it doesn't hold up nearly as well as a game like StarCraft. And that's really because of all the quality of life improvements that they brought into StarCraft. Um, but that's it. I just wanted to go back, share some of my memories, some of my experiences with StarCraft. And I know I'm not the only one who was sucked into this game back in the mid 90s. So drop a comment below. Let me know some of your memories of StarCraft. Let me know some of the custom maps you played. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe for more. So that's it. Have a good day.